Have you heard of toxic masculinity? Well, we're going to talk about that today on the 306 podcast. Hey everyone, my name is Scott and this is the 306 podcast. I just want to thank you for joining us here today. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. If you enjoy this content, if you don't, I guess you don't have to like or subscribe, but I guess I would wonder why you're watching. Anyways, so I was informed today, I was reading through some of the stuff happening, and the idea of this toxic masculinity came up. And it took me a minute to actually understand what they were trying to say. And I guess, and correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially it's the reason our world is so screwed up is because of masculinity, or the fact that masculinity is so toxic. And I just got thinking of, I think it's kind of right. But probably not for the reason that a lot of people spouting out this toxic masculinity think. You know, I think this stems from, the men that have been in the news lately. I mean, President Trump, is not a good example of what masculinity should look like. You have the despicable human beings, who the one whom last week I won't even say his name, but who is the mass shooter down in the coward down in Florida. You have the Harvey Weinsteins. You have all these people that are caught up in these affairs and sex scandals and all this stuff. And I agree that is toxic masculinity. That those are guys, men, that have a very wrong way of presenting themselves and interacting with people. And so how do we fix that? And I think what some people would say is we need to take the masculinity out of people. We need to, just, and I don't know. I mean, where do you go from that? But here are some of my things on this. If you look at a lot of these people that are these mass shooters, all of them are men. I mean, let's be straight up honest with that. They're men. They're mostly white. Very few non-Caucasian mass shooters lately, but they all have some things. Most of them have some things in common. And the big thing that stuck out to me is they don't have a solid father figure in their lives. And that's an issue. And so today I just want to talk a little bit about the importance of having a positive male father figure, role model in your life. And like I said, this probably isn't going to go the way that a lot of people spouting the toxic masculinity will think, but here's just some of my thoughts. The importance of having a father in your life is crucial. I'm learning this firsthand. As a kid, you don't realize it as much. I didn't realize how much of an impact my father had on me. And I'm starting to see it now with my boys. Again, I have two boys, ages 4. As the day I'm recording this is my son's 4th birthday. And we have a 2-year-old. He's about 2.5. And they are sponges to what I say, to what I do, to how I act. My youngest son, who's 2.5, he will go up into our bedroom. He will grab a watch out of our jewelry armoire, put it around his wrist, grab a piece of loose leaf or something, and go downstairs. He'll grab a pair of my glasses. I have a couple of pairs of glasses. He'll grab a pair of my glasses. He'll go downstairs and he'll tell me, I'm going to work. I'm going to work, Dad. And that's what I do. I put on my glasses. I wear a watch, or, as of late, I'm wearing my I Am Second bracelet. And he goes to work, and he gets on his little tricycle thing, and he rides around the house, and he's driving to work. And it just amazes me that he picks up on that he thinks of that. My oldest son, I say something and he repeats it back. And then I see him interacting with other people, and he'll say things, and I'll just think, where did he even hear that? And my wife will say, from you. So having a positive role model in your life is important, because the kids don't know the difference between a positive role model and a destructive role model. And unfortunately, with what the media has done, is they're spending so much time highlighting all of these destructive role models on TV. You can't watch the news. You can't watch anything on cable television that's positive, that's reinforcing. Even if you look at our movies, it's all violence. It's all crude humor. It's all vulgar. It's all morally absent. There's no ethics. There's some, but it's overwhelmingly destructive. Even watching, superhero movies, the amount of guns, the amount of violence, and the fact that there are kids in 3rd, 4th grade. I guess I would put them at 8, 9 years old, 10 years old. They're coming in and they're coming in saying that they're watching these rated R movies that have so much violence, so much profanity, nudity, just in graphics, that explosions and guns and all this stuff. And we wonder why kids are so addicted to it. And it's because they don't have that role model in their life. They don't have that person in their life who is mentoring them, that's fathering them. I said I didn't realize the importance of a male role model, or the impact that my dad had on me, but as I look at it, it's like I looked up to my father, and whether I knew it or not, I learned how to talk. I learned how to interact with people. I saw how he interacted with people, and that's how I learned to interact with people. Because as a boy, I relate better to my dad than I do my mom, and my dad went off to work, and so I learned how to appreciate work. Whenever he was home and he would be doing yard work, he'd be working on cars, or he would be doing anything like that, I caught a glimpse at his work ethic, and that rubbed off on me. And now things that I saw my dad doing, I'm doing. And good, bad, or indifferent, it happens. And when you don't have that, you fill that void up with something. And for a lot of young men, they turn to the internet, they turn to society, they turn to culture. And I don't know if you've looked at our culture lately, but our culture is not great. Not great at all. And so that's where they're learning. You see these people that it seems like they have no empathy. They just have these blank stares in their face. And you wonder, how could they get to this? How couldn't they? They're so absorbed into what the entertainment industry is putting out there, what the music industry is putting out there. I mean, listen to the lyrics of some of the songs on the top 100. Tell me how many of those songs would have a positive influence on a young man. Look at the movies that are out. Tell me how they have a positive influence. And I know that you're going to say, oh, well, they don't have that much of an effect. They do. They do have an effect. The video games that are out there. I mean, and here's the thing. I played video games. I played Grand Theft Auto whenever I was a teenager. But I knew the difference. I understood. I had that foundation that my parents created for me. I value life. And I got that value from seeing how my father treated my mother, how my father treated me, how my father treated my siblings, how my father treated other people. And I'm not saying it's all on fathers, it's on mothers too, it's on grandparents, it's on men and women. But guys, for your sons, if you have sons or moms with your daughters, you're the biggest role model that they can have in their life. And it's not something that should be taken lightly. It's not a popularity contest. It's not how you can be friends with your kids. Be friends with your kids later after they've grown up, they've matured, and they are on the right path. I want to raise the kid that turns into the adult that I want to be a friend with. I don't want to be friends with teens. I want to help teens find the right path so they can become good adults. That's one of the joys, and it's one of the biggest fears that I have as a father, is being a good role model for my boys. Because I know that I fail, I fall short, I mess up. I don't do everything perfect. I screw up more than I get it right sometimes. But I know that I'm going to be the biggest impact on my child's development, on their ideologies, on their outlook, on their worldview. And so I need to put the work in. I need to man up and work on myself, work on improving my life, looking to my role models. Who are my role models? Who are your role models? Making myself a better man so that I can, in turn, give my boys the chance to be even better men than me. I don't want my kids to be just like me. I want my kids to be better than me. I feel my father carried the football so far down the field, and then he handed that ball off to me. I'm carrying that ball further down the field, and I want to hand it off to my boys so that my boys can get further down the field than I ever got. And we all have that responsibility as men. And so we need to be better role models. The view of masculinity is toxic right now. But if we can start setting good examples, we can return masculinity to what it truly is. And that's treating people right. That's being the solid foundation for our families. That's being the loving father to our children, the loving spouse to our wives. And so that's what I'm working on each and every day. And I just pray that my boys would end up much better off than me. Next week, I will be in Texas, and so I'm going to be recording another podcast. I'm so excited. I just want to spend a minute on this, but I'm heading out to Texas next week. You can follow my personal channel, Scott Cunningham. It's on the homepage of my of this Love Local state channel, and so you can follow that. I'm going to be creating a couple of videos. I'm really excited for it. This is my first mission trip, and I'm probably going to do a podcast on it at some point. But I'm really excited. We're going to be going down to Houston, Texas, and so I'm going to be creating a couple of videos while I'm down there to be posting to my personal channel. And I leave Sunday morning bright and early, and I'll be coming back Saturday, the following Saturday evening as well. So really excited for that. And so again, if you like, I'd love to hear who your role model is, why they're your role model, and the impact that they've had on your lives. You can put that in the comments below, and I'd love to read that. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I will see you next week.